everyone, my name is Buster Green, and welcome back to my channel where we have another Battle Circuit Deep Dive video. If you enjoy content like this, please subscribe to my channel. I do videos like this every time there is a Battle Circuit. So, this time, the Advanced Physical Battle Circuit came back from hell. And with this Battle Circuit, there is now a rumor passing through the internet that Bandai has officially increased the overall difficulty for the battle circuits. Now, I'm not sure if this rumor is true or not. I didn't actually find the Advanced Melee number 2 last month that much worse than your typical battle circuit. Now, I don't know if it's been done on purpose, but this battle circuit is hard. And it's hard and it's bad for a couple of reasons. Now, it's definitely the hardest battle circuit I can remember, but it comes down to this. First of all, it takes place on this map. This map is the inside of the colony. Now typically this is a normal map and it's not that much of a problem, but in the high stakes battles of the battle circuit, this stage is probably the worst stage we've ever had a battle circuit on, because dealing with it is just a nightmare. It's a map that straight up has dead ends. And we've had bad claustrophobic maps for the battle circuit before, but we've never had a map where you can dead end yourself, get cornered, and die like that. Now, there's an open area on one side of the map, but to fight your way over to that, you have to get through this bridge, and it's so much of a problem getting over there that it almost never works. Making matters worse, in this battle circuit, physical attacks are boosted. And that means that the damage of grenades and missiles are very heavily boosted. And some grenades can even bounce off walls, which is a huge problem in this map because there are lots of buildings, therefore there are lots of walls. Now, for all those reasons I just mentioned, as well as many others, we have a very odd situation taking place in this battle circuit. Typically in most battle circuits, the final boss is the most dangerous enemy on the map. In this case, the final boss is the Gundam Exia. However, this Gundam Exia is not actually the most dangerous enemy in this battle circuit. The most dangerous enemy is actually the Grenade Crazy Blue Destiny 2. That's the one you actually need to keep your eyes on, and that's the one you're going to keep track of because it will one-hit kill you if you give it the time of day. The Blue Destiny 2 is an incredibly dangerous foe in the stage. It has to be dealt with immediately as soon as it spawns, every time you see it. If you don't kill it right away, it is going to kill you as soon as it can. And the other enemies you fight in this battle circuit will fight you fairly. The Blue Destiny will not fight you fairly. Now, on the flip side of that, what I said about the grenades, that's a two-way street. Any decent grenade weapon is going to do you pretty right in this battle circuit. Even the weak and obscure ones are getting a pretty major boost just from the parameters of the circuit and from the map favoring grenade splash damage. Case in point, I had this amazing victory in the second wave using grenade parts from the Bawu, and I feel like those grenade parts on the Bawu have not been useful to me in over a year otherwise. One more thing about this map. So in the middle of this map, there is this big stupid bridge, and this bridge basically acts like a fence and kind of a bottleneck for most enemies. If you can corner your enemies under this bridge, it's a great place to set off like a nuke or something. Either way, you can use one EX skill to kill both enemies if you can catch them under the bridge. Now, you can use melee units in this battle circuit. Now, the Blue Destiny 2 is a dangerous shooter adversary, and overall the battlefield kind of favors using shooters, but you can get away with using a lot of melee units in the early rounds when the enemies are just warming up and they aren't that dangerous yet. However, once round 9 or so, the Blue Destiny 2 gets so powered up that it's really not an option to use melee units anymore and you have to use shooters. This battle circuit has the most kill or be killed atmosphere that I've ever seen. And as a result, almost all of the wins I got in this battle circuit are under a minute. Just because if I didn't end these battles in under a minute, I would get killed. Oh, and this goes without saying, but for anyone who has never experienced a physical battle circuit or otherwise doesn't quite get what we mean by physical weapons mean anything that's not a beam weapon. So really what this battle circuit is getting at is that beam weapons are nerfed. Swords are good, but beam swords are bad. Bazookas and machine guns are good, but beam machine guns and beam bazookas are bad. Now, as usual, if you crack up your stats above 30,000 or more, your beam weapons might actually start to work. Otherwise, you're just going to have to be satisfied with just using them as accessories and not trying to get death blows with them. But I would recommend that if you're going to try to use your beam parts, you need to have a strategy going into that. There were only 2 rounds where I felt like I needed to use beam parts, otherwise if I used them it was kind of by accident. Lastly, one more thing that you need to worry about is in this battle circuit there are 2 support word tag rounds. Now, if you have the Valkyrie Gundam from the previous battle circuit, that thing is a total lifesaver. Otherwise, your next best bet is the Sana Capsule, which is another promotional unit. If you don't have either of those cool promotional units, then you're stuck with using the normal Capsule or the Palace Athena, which are your best bets in this case, but those suits are not particularly strong at all. So you're going to really need to upgrade those suits as much as you can and combine them with other strong parts you have. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time. Oh, and this goes without saying, but make sure you guys have marks on all of your suit parts. Just put as many marks as you can. Even if you just have the basic white marks, those will increase your stats by about 2,000 points, and that is super important since you need a bare minimum of 12,000 in either your melee attack or shot attack to be able to make kills in this battle circuit. So that's about everything I think I can say to prepare you guys. Now we go to the round by round breakdown. Round 1, Advanced Physical. So I actually started out really hot this time. After the previous Advanced Melee battle circuit, I decided to just come in strong with the melee build, and in this first round the enemies were so weak that I really didn't have much to worry about. And just the same, I accidentally made a suit that had really high armor stat, and that made it tank through most hits very well. Nickname, Sandstorm Barbatos. Round 2, for Urban Area 1. So, super fun melee build here. This time I kit bashed the Goof Custom and the Exia Dark Matter. Really encompassing the best aspects of both of those suits, I got a Goof that had Trans Am, and it was so brutal. Now, me and the Exia had this epic fight to the death, and it was sweet, I gotta say. By the way, you'll notice I did not equip a gun on this unit. That's a good strategy in the early rounds to force your AI pilots to fight with melee, although it gets a lot trickier to use in the later circuits because you might need the stats or skills that the guns give you. Nickname, Goof Custom Dark Matter. Round 3, Skill Hack 1. Now, Skill Hack 1 was the first round where I started to have real trouble with the stage. So I came into the stage using an SD build, which is not usually something I'm going to do, but if I'm going to have to use SD parts, I'd rather just build a full SD instead of some weird mashup with like teeny tiny legs or whatever. Now, I'm still playing in the melee range, but so here's where things stop being so easy for me. Now, even though my SD was a tough little guy, it had no defense. So what was absolutely critical to my victory here was equipping the Wire Claw arms, which I used as a red subpart to the arms. Now the Wire Claw has a really long stun duration, and that gave me the edge I needed to chop the Exia to death. Nickname, Little Shogun Gundam. Round 4, Advanced Range 1. So, like in the first physical battle circuit, the GM Cardigan is a fucking ace in the hole for this battle circuit. Anyway, so I used that and some other parts to build a pretty nice rapid shooter build. My first rapid shooter build of the circuit, since I was forced to do it. Anyway, not too much to report here. Peru, once again, performing optimally. Now, she's not the best shooter, but she has a great combination of skills that make her very valuable. And otherwise, this is just a typical rapid shooter counting on the GM Cardigan's EX parts. Nickname, Big Cardigan Gundam. Round 5, Support Type 1. Okay, so here we're at the first of the 2 Support Type rounds. And I have to again say that these are the most dangerous rounds in this battle circuit because the MS selection for Support Type is so shallow. Like, the only suits that pop this tag have some of the most obscure parts in this game. So for Support 1, I made a melee unit. And for Support 2, I made a shooter unit. So that ensured that in number 1, I used my best melee parts, and in number 2, I used my best shooter parts. Now, this is a good way to do it since the second half of the circuit, melee units just don't work as well. So in this round, my build was really entirely based around the Santa Capsule. I took the Santa Capsule and I pushed it as hard as I could. Now, retrospectively, I should have pushed this thing even more. I just did the bare minimum I could to make it functional. The last thing I had in my favor was the Full Armor Unicorn's barrage attack, but the suit had no shot attack, so even though I got that to land because that move is inaccurate, it barely scratched the Exia. So I had to finish off the Exia with the Santa Signature Spike, which is a totally awesome attack that stuns, and then the Farsia's legs had this really good sword move on them that got me the win. It literally took everything I had here to make the suit win. Nickname, Santa Capsule Unleashed. Round 6, Switch Mode 1. So I'm still using melee here, and I put together a very hardcore build for this round. Now, the Blue Destiny cornered me early on and almost ended me, but I managed to one-hit kill it with the halberd. And then after that, I managed to miraculously fight my way through the stage without even taking a single hit ever after that. Ending up with an easy bisect kill on the Exia. Nickname, Dark Astrea. Round 7, Advanced Melee 1. So, Advanced Melee 1, after a string of many melee runs, felt kinda typical. Anyhow, so I made myself a really fun try-on-3 build here, focusing on mostly delivering punching and kicking attacks, with Rambarel once again doing another great performance. Now, considering how hands-off most of my other builds are, it's really satisfying in this one that I got to slam the Exia into a fence and watch it explode. Nickname, Barbarian Try-on-3. Round 8, Gundam Type 1. So, I seriously rocked melee builds through almost all of Phase 1. Anyway, vibing off of my Wrestling Try-on-3 build, in this round I made a skinny Gundam, also focusing on physical attacks, but with a little bit more of a sword fighter vibe. This was also another build where I did not equip a gun, otherwise Benajir would have been a very unreliable pilot for this build, because he prioritizes gun attacks. Nickname, Karate Guy Gundam. Round 9. Okay, so here's where I couldn't use melee anymore. Now, does every battle circuit need to have an overdrive mode? This time I ended up using the Kshatriya arms, which might have been a mistake. I think I needed them for their stats, but they ended up making my suit so fat that it was a liability on this narrow stage. Like, the stage is just so claustrophobic that it was kind of a deadly mistake. Plus, the funnels didn't even work because they were nerfed. So my strategy here was just to coast with the ZZ backpack and the Freedom's railguns. And this was, again, the first stage where the Blue Destiny started revealing itself as a serious threat. Nickname, Strike Kshatriya. Round 10, Advanced Skill. Okay, so for round 3, I made this really average rapid shooter build. Now, I didn't go hard into the stats, and I actually used a lot of underpowered parts here. I think I mostly just won because the Gundam Versago's back has such good perks that it gave me the win. Also, the Sazabi's grenades are just so OP in the circuit that also really had to come in handy. The suit has a vaguely F90 theme, and again, it was a close win because the Exia really came out hard on me here. Nickname, Grenade F90. Alright, so halftime. Didn't think we'd have halftime, but again, my playstyle between the first phase and the second phase was so different that I need to do just a quick shout out here and just to let you guys know that for the second phase, there are 2 Blue Destinies, and those 2 Blue Destinies come out so hard and so strong. Now, I mostly use shooters to try and break them when I had an opening, but using melee builds was not practical in the second wave because in most circumstances, the Blue Destinies just came out so strong that I didn't have a chance to even strike them. Now, this also led to me having a hard time using my defenders because when I tried to use defender builds, I didn't have a chance to block or get my shields up again before the Blue Destinies would kill me. So no matter what builds you're going to use, the second phase of this battle circuit is just hard as hell. You cannot really dodge the Blue Destinies without crashing into a building, so all you can count on is killing them before they kill you. Once again, the theme of this battle circuit is kill or be killed. Let's move on, shall we? Round 11 for Urban Area 2. Alright, so this was a really fun rapid shooter grenade launcher build, taking full advantage of the recently added Grimoire grenade launcher. That was instantly perfect for this build, but in retrospect I might have used that part too early because it was a new part and I wasn't used to it yet. Anyway, all the same, this was a really fast and really easy run. Nickname Grenade Age Gundam. Round 12, Skill Hack 2. Alright, so here's my typical Skill Hack 2 Tallgeese 3 build. And the only thing different about it this time is I made it super buff and super bulky. Which again is a mistake because this fucking stage is so tight. But it's been a while since I had myself a good skill hack round, so I'm pretty happy that just piling hard into the basics worked as well as it did here. I literally only needed the Tallgeese's archer hack, and then the suits had good stats, so it worked out. Nickname Gigantic Tallgeese. Round 13, Advanced Range 2. Okay, so now I'm pulling out a weird build in this round. It's very much a hodgepodge of leftover parts that didn't really aesthetically fit together, and either way it makes another average physical shooter. Now, it took me 3 tries to get this build to work, and again I had so many problems here mostly because of its size. The Blue Destiny was hunting me hard, and because I was big, I couldn't get away from it. I wasn't able to score a win until I lucked into a run where I killed both of the Blue Destinies pretty much on sight. Nickname Unbalanced Double Zeta. Round 14, Support Type 2. Okay, wow, when I look at this build now, I'm honestly shocked I won this one at all. I really should have upgraded this build more. This was not an easy round. I barely pulled off this win, and I definitely owe everything I did in the stage to the Valkyrie Gundam's torso and the Code Sana mode. The Code Sana mode boosts shooting and triples your actual in-game speed. The speed bonus is actually crazy. I have never felt anything that felt like such a difference in this game, and it actually really helped me avoid getting cornered on this bad map. Otherwise, I just had to make do with the weak rapid shooter attacks, which again benefited from the Sana boost. Nickname Palace Valkyrie Gundam. Round 15, Switch Mode 2. Okay, this ended up being a really different play. So I started out using my typical rapid shooter build for this, but that didn't work at all because of how big that thing is. So in desperation and at the urging of my audience, I switched over to a melee switch mode build, which is not something I usually do this late in the game. So it ended up being still a super hard battle, and even though I was using a melee build, I still carried a pack of grenades with me to kill the Blue Destiny 2. In this round, I just needed to put everything into my focus on killing the Blue Destiny 2. After that was done, I switched to autopilot, and my autopilot was able to kill the Exia because this is a melee build. Honestly, the autopilot handles melee attacks better than I could ever dream to. Nickname Burning Narrative Gundam. Round 16, Advanced Melee 2. Alright, so here's Advanced Melee, and I want to say this is my last Melee build, but as it turns out, I've used up all my best Melee parts in the other rounds of the circuit. So I ended up making something really weird here. I used a lot of parts of the Barbatos Lupus Rex, some parts of the F91, and some parts of the Shin Matsunaga Zaku to make a very, very unconventional Gundam designed to rip through enemies and damage multiple opponents with its claws and other physical attacks. Now, this was a super risky strategy, but once I got the hang of it, it worked great. Nickname, White Wolf Gundam. Round 17, Gundam Type 2. Okay, this is a really crazy build. Now, it's another physical rapid shooter, and I was initially trying to make a Mudrock build, but after some trial and error, it ended up being more of a Bawu build, because in a shocking twist of events, the Bawu's arm grenades, which have not been useful to me in forever, were super good in this battle circuit, because again, grenades just rule in this battle circuit. Nickname, Freedom Bawu. Round 18, Overdrive 2. So, if you guys have been collecting multi-mission crew tickets, I really have to say that investing them here into the Kampfer saved my butt. Great move on my part. Now, the Kampfer's back bazooka is another rapid shooter skill, and with the alteration, it had such good stats that it just saved my life. Now, I brought along some basic Melee AX skills again, which were also really useful in the last couple of seconds to help me humiliate the Exia. Nickname, Star Self. Round 19. Alright, so this has been such a brutal battle circuit for me. I definitely got my ass kicked way more than usual. So when I got to round 19, in kind of a dumb move because I was so tired and so worn out, I just auto-built the absolute best shooter I could build instead of using my absolute best parts for round 20. Now, I was okay with this because I knew for round 20 I had something different in mind, and my auto best build did not use most of the parts I was planning for my round 20 build, although I did make a huge mistake in not checking my red subparts, and I accidentally wasted the Nightingale shield, which got subparted over my shield here. So that messed up my strategy for round 20. But anyway, I auto-built myself an OP shooter with a shot attack of 40,000, and that got me a 20-second win. So nickname, Haman Gundam. Okay, so finally round 20. And for round 20, I ended up putting something together weird, because I'd used my parts in such a weird arrangement this battle circuit that instead of going with the Wing Zero build I usually go for in round 20, I'd kind of just put together whatever I had left and got a suit that wasn't crazy OP, but it still had a shot attack above 30,000. And since I still had most of my best EX skills saved, I was able to put something together that was pretty strong enough to win. Nickname, Queen Gundam. And so that was the second physical battle circuit. Now, I want to point out that you guys are only seeing my wins in this video, but you guys got to know that the Blue Destiny probably killed me at least 100 times before I figured out suitable strategies and builds that could kill it. So, thank you again for sticking it out over this video. My name is Buster Green. Please subscribe. I only need 400 subscribers to get monetized for my work. Alright, thank you guys. I gotta go. Later!